Happy New Year, my film friends. Dave the Film Junkie here. What is it, 4 days in? Something like that. Yeah, sorry guys. I should have got this out like way before. I should have got it out last weekend, but it's just been pretty crazy past couple of weeks, so I didn't get time to do like my best ofs and everything like that. So expect them all, my anticipated. I'm not going to do a worst of. Kind of tired of doing the worst of. Not going to do that. I mean, just go back and you could see some of my first reactions and my reviews. You could tell which ones I thought were shit sandwiches. But we're going to be talking about the movies that I really enjoyed. I mean, obviously I put them on the wall. There's movies that were on the wall, and it's kind of hard. It's like, you know, oh yeah, definitely that one. Definitely that's going to be up here. And then, you know, it takes a little bit to arrange them and everything. So, and then there's movies that I didn't get to see, like, that I know that I hear that were great, like Parasite and Uncut Gems and everything. I didn't get to catch those movies, so sadly, movies like that won't be on the list, even though I've heard like great things about them. They sound like they are movies just like right up my alley. But here we go, guys. Here's my top 10 best of list of 2019. Number 10, Knives Out. I have a feeling that when I watch this movie again, and then again, and then again, it's probably move further up. A nice little tweak to the whodunit story. This movie is fantastic. When I saw this movie, I saw it with my mom, saw it with my brother, and my aunt. We all loved it. We walked out just like, I mean, just the way that the story's told. I won't give spoilers because it's still pretty fresh, but Rian Johnson did something pretty good with how you keep, you know, how you unravel a story like this. And Daniel Craig was excellent, and of course Ana de Armas excellent as well. It's really her movie. She's the star, and the whole cast is great. I mean, it's a recognizable cast. They all play their part. They're all assholes, and you see why Christopher Plummer killed himself. Number 9, The Irishman. Look at those young bucks. Choppy, de-aging CGI aside, yes, I really enjoyed The Irishman. When I did my review, I expressed how Martin Scorsese is the fucking king. He's just the god of storytelling. And when it comes to a movie that's going to be 3.5 hours long, I mean, you better get going. I know a lot of people still can't sit through this movie, and I know that since it's on Netflix, they're kind of like, oh yeah, people have decided they broke it off into like 4 parts, which is fine, but honestly, when I sat there and watched this movie, I didn't feel the runtime. It was well acted. It was, the storytelling, like I said, flowed. I loved the dialogue. I loved how it jumped back and forth. I mean, there's some things that I could pull apart with the way that it does jump through the timeline. Sometimes I kind of go like, wait, where are we now? And yes, you know, when Robert De Niro was kicking the shit out of somebody, he didn't look like a 40-year-old man. He looked like, well, like he did now, a little stiff. Number 8, a movie that's fucked up, but in a good way. Midsommar. Jesus Christ. I love her. Ever since the Fighting With My Family movie, I don't know. This woman just, she's adorable and sexy at the same time. But in this movie, her character, my God, the fact that she did not get nominated for any awards like Golden Globes or anything, yeah, it's just, it's beyond me, because she fucking has a lot of scenes. She goes through hell. Just what her character goes through from the beginning to the very end, and how fucked up everything ends up getting. You almost feel like wow, this movie, what happened to people is fucked up, but what happened to her, that's good. Ari Aster, of course, this is his follow-up to Hereditary, which I believe was in my best of last year. This man just knows how to make I mean, it's always a slow burn. You really have to realize that you're not going to get a bunch of jump scares. It's not going to be just everything in your face. There's going to be a lot of buildup, and it might not even pay off for you. It paid off for me. I like this kind of shit. And he's not afraid to just push the boundaries. I mean, there is like full frontal nudity from guys and girls, bushes everywhere. Like I said, it's a fucked up movie, but Florence, she puts on a great performance. Even Jake Rayner, who I thought was horrible in Age of Extinction, does a great job as well, and I'm really, really looking forward to what Mr. Astor has for us next. Number 7, Ad Astra. Brad Pitt as an astronaut. Come on! Ad Astra is interesting because this is another movie that a lot of people probably wouldn't dig, because it is a slow burn. Another slow burn. I like slow burn movies because you always have like an expectation, and I love it when I try to predict like where this is going to go and it ends up not going that way. I actually prefer it not to. I don't like the satisfaction of being right about movies sometimes. Sometimes I could just like totally ruin an experience for me when I could just guess the ending by the fucking trailer. At Astra, I'm like, okay, what's the payoff here? What's going on here? But James Gray really did something unique here with a space adventure movie. And of course, yeah, some people might pick it apart, but like, yeah, you really got to suspend belief with a lot of disbelief with a lot of things. And yeah, you do, but it really is a story about, I mean, the undertones, father and son, especially. I mean, it's a story about father and son. It's about ego and masculinity, and just mainly about ego because of what Brad Pitt's character, the way that he has to just like keep his heart rate down, even with like the crazy shit that happens on this journey. And just where we're end up going, you know, when we have bases on Mars or bases on the moon, and then shit that happens on the moon, where, you know, you could almost have a spin-off of what, you know, with pirates that happen. You know, there's a very interesting sequence that happens, but the visuals are stunning. The cinematography is stunning, and Brad Pitt gives one of his best performance, if not his best performance. But then again, there might be another movie on this list that might be a little better. Number 6, Elita, Battle Angel. Where's that fucking sequel? I enjoyed the shit out of this movie, and every time I watched it after, I enjoyed it more, it seemed. Even if, like, I hate the cheesy love story aspect of it, but I enjoy the technical aspect of it and the world building that Robert Rodriguez did with this movie. I mean, I'm not familiar with the anime or whatever books or whatever the heck. I'm not familiar with the character at all, but what he did, when you actually look at the anime and you look at how he brought it to life, it's pretty awesome. And like I said, world building. And Rosa Salazar, sorry, I suck. Rosa Salazar, she gives a great performance, and my God, is that girl gorgeous. And she's got those pretty big eyes. And I really hope there is a sequel. I know people want a sequel. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I haven't heard anything. Now that Fox is owned by Disney, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all that, because, I mean, they do leave it open. I mean, because, like, right at the end, you're going, like, hey, oh, it's fucking Edward Norton. Can we see more of that character? Number 5, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. I mean, come on. If this is not on your top 10 list, what the fuck kind of fucking person are you? I think pretty much with every top 10 yearly list I've had, probably all 3 John Wicks have been on there, because these movies are so goddamn enjoyable. I mean, just the knife fight alone in this movie is insane. And you just kind of go, okay, what can they possibly do in John Wick Chapter 4? It's coming, but what are they going to do? I mean, they expand on the world even more. We have Halle Berry with her crazy dogs that are part of just one of the best sequences you've ever seen on film that's been added. So I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do with Chapter 4, but with Chapter 3, I really enjoyed it. I mean, they just keep upping the action. If any, I mean, it's hard to like say which one you like the best. I mean, I think 3 was definitely better than 2, but I mean, 1 is just, there's something special about it, even though it's difficult to watch because, you know, they killed the fucking cutest dog in the world. Number 4, The Lighthouse. You goddamn farts! This movie's insane. Absolutely insane. But it's beautiful. It's great. It's fantastic. It's original. And Robert Eggers did something, I mean, this is another director like Ari Aster. I'm just looking forward to what he does next because of what he has, like with The Witch and everything. So, like, with The Lighthouse, if you haven't seen this movie, watch it. Watch it, turn off all the lights, and if you're going to take a psychedelic or an edible, do it. And 2 other performances that didn't get nominated, and I can't understand why, because Dafoe and Pattinson give stellar performances. I mean, there's literally a scene in here where Dafoe is getting dirt thrown on him, and he's still spitting out a monologue with dirt in his fucking mouth and his eyes. And I'm going, how do you do that? Pattinson, I mean, this is the best you've seen Pattinson. I mean, throw out all the Twilight shit. If you keep throwing that in my face when you're like, oh, he's not going to be a good Batman, I mean, watch this goddamn movie. It's insane. I mean, it is a movie about just about the mind cracking. And there's so many undertones. There's like biblical stuff that's in here that you could like connect to. It's just so many different things. And the way it's shot with the aspect ratio and the black and white, it just fits with the time. It's a beautiful fucking movie. Number 3, Ford versus Ferrari. Or is it V? I didn't say the V in Batman v Superman, right? Oh, I just said it right now. Shit. Talk about one of the feel-good movies of the year. Even though I already knew things about this because I've seen documentaries and listened to Adam Carolla a lot, who made those documentaries. So I kind of knew the story of all this, but just to see it being played out and Damon and Bale just beasts on the screen, it's just a really, like I said, it's a feel-good movie. When it came to like the last race, I mean, I was like in my seat just like, it's going to happen, even though I knew it was going to happen. It was shot very well. James Mangold did a phenomenal job with this movie. And I mean, I don't know what else I could say. Even if you don't like cars or you don't like racing, just watch this movie. It's just one of those movies that you go, holy shit, I enjoyed the shit out of that movie from start to finish because the leads were great. The story was interesting. I mean, Carroll Shelby was, he's when you talk about American history, I mean, you got to talk about Mr. Shelby. And I highly recommend the documentaries that are on Netflix right now by Adam Carolla, the 24-Hour War and the Shelby doc. Go watch them. I watched the Shelby doc after I watched this, and they're great. To do a follow-up on this, go watch them. Please do. Number 2, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's right. Brad Pitt on this list twice because he's awesome. Quentin Tarantino, I mean, of course, you can't go wrong. If you love his movies, you're probably going to love this. I mean, as much as his movies have a similarity and they're very cinematic, sometimes they're not always the same. And I know some people are like, this movie is boring, this and this. What I love about this movie is it's about 3 stories. And it's similar to what he always has. He always has character-driven stories. And sometimes it's just like, where is this going? And sometimes you don't even think that anything's going anywhere, but it does. And the Sharon Tate story in particular, because it's mainly about the 2 leads. It's mainly about Brad Pitt and Leo. It's about a failing actor and then his buddy who's just kind of just there for him and always has his back, but it kind of gets wrapped up in something else that ties to Sharon Tate, and you're kind of going, what's going to happen with this? But Sharon Tate's character, Margot Robbie, who's just adorable as shit in this movie, like, where's this going to go? Even though, because in the back of your head, you're going, she's supposed to get brutally fucking murdered. But it's a Tarantino movie, and it takes a wicked left turn, which is great, and that is like one of the best fucking scenes of the year, probably the best fucking scene of the year. And that's why Tarantino is so great. And it's just the way that it's shot. When I watch this again, God, I just enjoyed the shit out of this movie, and I will enjoy it for years to come. And then we finally got number 1. You guys already know what the fuck it is. Joker! I believe this was my most anticipated movie of the year. And guess what? It ended up being my favorite movie of the year. That's right, Joker. I plan on watching it again. I saw it twice in the theaters. I still haven't watched it at home yet. I know it's available, and I think I might do it tonight. I don't know. But, I mean, what else can you say about this movie? Joaquin Phoenix just gave the performance of his lifetime, of his career. And did I just say lifetime? Not... Whatever. It's phenomenal, and being a Batman fan and seeing a movie that's dedicated to his arch nemesis, and then there's elements, of course, of Bruce Wayne in there, it was pretty fantastic. And what Todd Phillips did, just showed this bleak world that was, I guess, in like the early 80s, late 70s, just to show that that people were struggling, and the way that times are right now. And I know this movie got a lot of shit. It's all about mental illness. And I know some people will take it to heart. Like, hey, sometimes you just feel like nobody gives a shit, no matter who you are in this world. And that's what this really expresses. And then when the mind just cracks, can it crack to a point where, shit like this happens? But then you kind of wonder, there's so many undertones with this movie. I mean, I had my theory about the movie, which I know is probably wrong, but I mean, my God, this movie is just something else. It's shot very well. It's written very well. And then, of course, Phoenix just gives this haunting performance, and the score that goes with it. It's almost like, Phoenix and the score were in sync, with Todd Phillips directing. Everything was so in sync. And that's why this movie just took the world by storm, and it made over $1 billion. R-rated, has the overall record. And I can't say anything bad about this movie. There you have it, guys. That is my best of for 2019. Let me know your list down below. What movies did you love in 2019? Hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to my channel, filmjunkie.com, for all my content. Follow me in the sock meds over there: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon if you want to help out. And of course, shirts down below. All right, guys. 2020. Here we go. Talk to you later.